Good morning and welcome to Tuesday's early morning intuitive guidance. I love the first thing it shows me is decent lighting helps you look amazing. And lighting is not my gig at the moment, obviously, but it's less about looking at me and it's more about hearing these words. So, welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance, also known as YEMIG. And I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum. I am a holistic coach and clinical psychologist. And we have a cool card for today. Good morning, Miss Nancy. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. And I am leaving the comments on. Someone said to me yesterday, because after yesterday's, because there was a hater in the group. Why don't you just turn the comments off? And I'm like, no, then I lose the conversation with all of you. So that is not what I'm aiming for. People are going to do what they're going to do. And it's also an opportunity for me to demonstrate to you how we don't have to be reactive to someone else's provocation. We're certainly witnessing that in Minneapolis, are we not? People who are standing their ground, doing what they're called to do, and not getting baited into being reactive and negative. So, we have a cool card today, a really cool card. And this is an odd deck. It's a very odd deck. And a single card out of this deck, because this is such a deep deck, and I use the cards as sort of a jumping off point for our conversation every day. Um, because it's such a deep deck, oftentimes multiple. Good morning, Beth. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Multiple cards gives us a more complete story. Obviously, we don't have time for that on these. I like to keep them short sometimes. Sometimes I get chatty. Good morning, Barb. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All of the practical rebels are popping in here. This is good. But this particular card deck, I'll show you the cover of the box. It's the Wild Harmonic deck by Gabriel J. Marihugh. And this is an incredibly, like, the word that comes to me is deep deck that allows us to look beyond the surface stuff that's going on and really get a sense of what's going on with me. How do I choose to grow myself in light of what's going on within me and around me? That's what I would say. So let's start with some breath and some tapping. And today, in honor of World Tapping Summit, let's do a complete round or two and just see what we notice. So I want you to first pay attention to where are you at right now. If there's a particular emotion that you're having, let's say it's anxiety, let's say it's joy, let's say it can be any particular anger, let's frustration, exhaustion, whatever it is. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you're here. Um, I want you to pay attention to it and I want you to give it a rating on a scale from 0 to 10. 0 being it's not troublesome at all or it's not intense at all. It's just not really present, right? 10 being it's way there. It's the most I've ever felt this particular emotion. Good morning, Joniel. Glad you're here. Welcome. We're about to do some tapping. So just give it a rating, 0 to 10. And then we're just going to do some tapping. And because different people are going to be tapping on different emotions, we are going to be not necessarily putting words to it. I may put some words to it if I'm guided, but you can also decide if there's words that you want to say with each tapping point. We'll do 1 or 2 rounds and just see what we get. So start with the side of your hand, like where your baby finger is, also known as the karate chop spot. And that's sort of an overall reset button. So if you find that you're struggling with something and you can't let it go, whatever, even just doing this spot can be helpful. And if you, let's say you're in a meeting at work and you don't want to be tapping, just rub the side of your hand. That's fine as well. So do that spot. Then we're moving to the inside corner of your eyebrows. If you have glasses on, it's oftentimes easier to take them off. But in order to see what I'm doing, I'm going to leave mine on. Outside corner is the eyes. And again, typically you put words with this stuff, and I'll just make some up so you have an idea of what kind of words to use. Under the eyes, I'm focusing on my feelings. Under the nose, I'm paying attention to the intensity of those feelings. Under the mouth, I really want to feel better. Collarbone spot. I really want to feel better way more often. Under the arms, like where your bra strap would run across, if you wear a bra. And around the crown of the head. Let's do one more round just for shits and giggles. Inside corner of the eyebrows, paying attention to my feelings. Outside corner of the eyes, focusing on good feelings. Under the eyes, ready to release unpleasant feelings. Under the nose, after I've learned what they're designed to teach me. Under the mouth, I'm ready, willing, and able to learn. Collarbone. Again, you can have words, you don't have to have words. Under the arms. And around the crown of the heads. Okay, take a breath in. Let it go. And now I want you to go back to that feeling that you rated at the beginning and just notice if it's any different. Has it increased? Has it decreased? Is that the direction you would like it to go? And you can use this anytime, anywhere, because your tapping fingers go with you no matter where you go, right? But it's just a handy dandy little tool for making adjustments to how you feel, especially when things feel kind of stuck. So back to our deck, the Wild Harmonic deck by Gabriel J. Marihugh. That's the cover of, and here's the cover of the book. I just think this is so cool. That's our card sticking out there. All right. You feel better. Fabulous. That's awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. And apparently we're having some difficulty getting to LinkedIn. We'll see what happens with that. Morgan tends to pop in at some point during the day and kind of check it over as we're learning how to do this stuff and trying to get everything lined up. One of the other things that it said was, what was it? It was something. Anyway, it was that it's better to be plugged into your your router, your modem, whichever one it is. I am not the tech person. Can you tell? Rather than doing Wi-Fi, but it's in another room. So here we are. So here's our card for today. It is a sword on fire. These cards are wild too. They're round for one thing, and they've got these great graphics on them. So let's take a breath. Let it go. Opening to receiving this message. The words are empowered discernment. Empowered discernment. That's pretty interesting words at this point in time, right? And this sentence may not make much sense to you unless you're familiar with the deck, but the meditation part will. So it says, as the driving will ascends into the interconnected intelligence, an informed ability to make one's way is fostered. An informed ability to make one's way. I love that. So here's the meditation part, and this first sentence is really powerful. Making choices that cut away that which divides, demeans, and otherwise disempowers. So that's what this card is about. Cutting away that which divides, demeans, or otherwise disempowers. Yes, let's cut that away. This card calls me to be decisive and wise in my choices regarding what I allow into my life. Each time I make a tough decision, I empower myself to wield ever greater effectiveness. Standing at the center of my magic circle, I call the guardians to enforce the boundaries that keep the circle whole. Yet I know they are only as mighty as I allow them to be. Overcoming the invisible momentums that lure me into self-importance and self-pity. Okay, the downfalls of self-importance and self-pity. Do we see any of that? I reclaim my creative energies and in doing so find the center of the universe. So this is all about cutting away that which diminishes us, stepping into our own empowerment, claiming that for our own, realizing that the more empowered we all are, Yes, it makes some things messy. When we're not sheeple, it makes things messy. It's good that things are messy then. It is good that things are messy then. So today, let's ask ourselves, how do we step into our own divine empowerment? How do we empower ourselves to be fully present for what's going on in our lives and make decisions, empowered decisions about what we will and won't do, what we will and won't accept, who we will and won't be? Taking the time with that. So if you have any comments on that, stick them in the feed. That'd be great. But just thinking about that. Who am I really? What do I really believe in? How do I act in ways that are commensurate with who I believe I am, who I know I am, and what I'm being called to do? So that is our card for today. Let me show it to you one more time because I just think it's so cool. Empowered discernment. Empowered discernment. So, on this fine Tuesday, I hope you all have an awesome day. Remember that you're capable of far more than you think you are, and go forth. Good morning, Carolyn. We are just finishing up, but I will post the replay immediately. It should go right away to both of the Facebooks, and it looks like YouTube is working, but LinkedIn and Instagram and Substack are having issues. So at some point, we'll create a healing and see what we can do about that. Have an awesome day, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.